The rain had been falling all night in Lagos, the kind that soaked deep into the bones and made every shadow seem like it was hiding something. By 2:15 a.m., King Street lay deserted, except for a man in a faded brown jacket, limping slightly under the weight of a sagging nylon bag. His name was Alex. Nobody knew much about him, only that he worked night shifts, spoke little, and carried the tired eyes of a man who had lived several lives already. As he passed a flickering streetlight, he saw it, a crumpled shape by the roadside. At first, it looked like a pile of rags. Then he saw the faint shiver. It was a boy, barefoot, no more than 12. His lips trembled, his eyes wide and darting, as if the night itself had chased him here. Alex stopped. The city had taught him to mind his business. Kindness was a dangerous luxury, but there was something in the boy's gaze, something in the way he curled in on himself, that made Alex step forward. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around the boy's shoulders. "Stand up, my son," he said quietly. "Let's get you out of this rain." They walked together through the wet streets in silence, the boy's steps dragging until they reached Alex's one-room apartment, dimly lit by a single kerosene lamp. Over steaming Gary and sugar, the boy finally spoke. "My name is Chucks," he whispered. "My uncle, he wants me dead." Alex stared at him, rainwater still dripping from his hair. The boy's hands were scraped, his cheek bruised. He didn't explain further, but his eyes told a story of fear so deep it seemed alive. Alex didn't ask questions yet. He only knew the boy could not go back. The next morning the danger arrived. A heavy knock at the door, 3 times, slow and deliberate. "Open up," a deep voice called. "We're looking for a boy." Alex's chest tightened. He motioned to Chucks to hide under the bed. The boy obeyed without a sound. When Alex opened the door, 2 men stood there, one tall and sharp-faced, the other stocky with a scar running from his temple to his jaw. "We know he's here," the scarred one said. "Hand him over, and we'll leave you in peace." Alex's mind raced. These were not ordinary men. Their eyes had the cold stillness of people who did not make threats, only promises. "I don't know any boy," Alex lied, his voice calm but his heartbeat pounding in his ears. They stared for a moment, then smiled thinly. "We'll be back." Days passed in uneasy silence. Strange cars idled outside. Faces lingered too long at corners. Finally, one evening, Chucks told the truth. His uncle had killed his father over an inheritance, land worth millions. Chucks had overheard the plan to kill him too, and fled. "If I go back," he said, "they will bury me where no one will find me." Alex had never been a man of wealth, but he understood something deeper than money, the value of a life. This boy's survival had now become his mission. 1 week later, the threat returned. This time there was no knock, just the sound of wood splintering as the door burst open. The same men, now with 3 others, filled the room. Alex stepped in front of Chucks. "You'll have to go through me," he said, his voice low. The room erupted into chaos. Shouts, the crash of furniture, the raw fight of a man who had nothing to lose. But just when it seemed the struggle would crush him, a whistle pierced the night, sharp and urgent. Sirens followed, growing louder, until red and blue lights spilled through the doorway. The men scattered. 2 were caught. The rest melted into the night. It was the old woman from next door who had called the police. She had seen enough to know the boy was in danger. Weeks later, Chucks was placed into safe custody. His uncle arrested. Alex never saw him again, until one morning a letter arrived. "Alex," it read in careful handwriting, "you saved my life. I don't know if I can ever repay you, but I promise you this. The way you stood for me, I will stand for others. Because you taught me that a good deed deserves another." Alex read it twice, the lines on his face deepening into a quiet smile. In a city that often forgot kindness, he had passed it on. And somewhere he knew that kindness would keep moving like ripples in water, from one life to another, until the world itself remembered.